Good afternoon, everybody. This is Captain Rich with Stillwaters Fishing. I was going through a process. I got an order for some jigs, and I was sitting there kind of setting things up and kind of changing the way I do things, which is kind of crazy when you think about it because I've literally done thousands of jigs and kind of had a same process in a way, but it's changed in different variables throughout the time because I found either inefficiencies or things that I didn't like by the way that I was making the jig. So the process was always changing and getting more efficient, but also creating better quality. Because that was the intent of starting to make my own jigs. Anyways, if you've seen some of my other videos, I've talked before. I hate getting anything with a skirt out of the package and the bands are all glued together and you got to comb them out, and then you get all your cool new stuff in your tackle box and you go out on your fishing trip and you open up the Whamadine thing for Operation Bananarama about to ensue, catch the big bass, and then there's paint in the eye, and now you got to get your pocket knife out. They make tools for it, but it's just like one more thing that you have to deal with. And believe you me, if you've gone out there and you fish on a regular basis, fishing is hard enough. Your hook will hook everything except for a fish. The fact that they can throw 6 hooks out of their mouth, absolutely amazing. Unbelievable sometimes. So I say all that to say, I wanted something that you could take right out of the package or take right out of the box, whatever, tie on and go. And you didn't have to worry about any of the paint or any of the strands or anything else like that. So the prep work on making all these jigs, that's become something that is just detail oriented. So instead of like just throwing it together and like trying to make sure it looks good, like I comb out all these skirts before I even start to apply them because they do not come out looking perfect, trust me. The wire, that's pre-measured so I don't have extra waste. Drill it once you powder coat these things, like the paint and the weed guard, you got to drill that out. You got to drill out the eye. You got to make sure all that's good to go. But all of those things came through a process, and the point that I'm trying to get to without boring you is whatever you apply yourself to, if you do it 1,000 times, I promise you, if you get a little pad of paper and you put a chicken scratch on there every time you do that one thing, by the time you get to the 1,000th one, your process is going to look entirely different. And all you got to do is be consistent in the way that you do it. Your process will change, and by the 1,000th mark, as long as you're consistent and you set up the same way and you perform the same way, by the time you get to that 1,000th one, you're going to be light years ahead of where you were. And you might be surprised at how short a time it takes when you apply energy, motivation, and consistency, how short a time 1,000 evolutions can come in. Or 3 months, 6 months. You can change anything that you're trying to do in 3 months, 6 months with intentionality. So be consistent, look for efficiencies, look for process gains, look for the best practices. That's all I got for you today. Godspeed.